Forgot to hit record here. What do you know? We are going to start up this video. If you notice there's kind of music in the background, let me know if it's helping or hurting. I feel like it's easier to listen to videos that have a little tiny bit of music in the background. It just keeps your mind interested a little better. So let me know if it is working out for you. If it doesn't even matter, you're listening on silent anyways. Here we go. We have y equals 1 over 5x plus 4. We remind ourselves that our letter m is our slope, and that is our 1 over 5. This part up here is the up and down. This part right here is the left and right. So you are starting at the value 4. This guy right here is the value b. We call that the y-intercept. It is where you are crossing the y-axis. So we are up there to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 counted because of that 4. And then it is going up 1 and to the right 5. So we're going to count to the right first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 1. Boom, right there where it's supposed to be. And if you wanted to, by the way, don't forget, instead of going up 1 and right 5, or you could go down 1 and left 5, and that is the same exact thing. And the reason why it's the same thing is because you could rewrite 1 over 5 as -1 over -5. So instead of going to the right and up, you can go left and down. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna go left and down over here. That's gonna be this dot. And if you notice, again, it creates that perfect straight line regardless. It's your way of knowing that you got the correct answer, correct setup there. A little bit tougher to see if I'm not like leaning over, but we're gonna do what we can here. Oh yeah. Well, now charge it to the game. What can you do? All right, next question here. This y equals -2x plus 1. Same exact idea. We're gonna start off at that value 1. It's slightly more difficult for me to concentrate with the music going, so I don't know how it's gonna work for you guys, but we might have to do a re-recording of this video or something. We're gonna find out. Anyways, we have that value 1. So you're starting, and this time it's -2. Remember that -2 can be rewritten as -2 over 1. And because it's -2 over 1, we are going down 2 and to the right 1, to the right 1, down 2. And again, you could have also gone left 1 and up 2, and that would have been acceptable as well. You can put as many dots as you feel like, as long as they're in a straight line. This will be a little bit easier for me to see from this exact position, so I should be able to get a better line going for myself. But, you know, what can you do? Either way. Beautiful. And let's move on to our next question here. I'm going to put the word key up here. Someone might need this key in class. I'll actually bring it to school this time. Continuing on. Now, the problem with this question is that it's not in that y equals mx plus b format just yet. So the first thing you're going to have to do is rearrange it. So I'm just going to copy it down because I need to make sure there's enough room for me to rewrite it. We're going to start off by subtracting x on both sides. I highly recommend that we do this all horizontally. So that was a positive x. It now becomes a negative x on the other side. And then we want to divide everything by that -3. So you divide by -3, divide by -3, divide by -3. And we're going to get y is equal to 1 over 3x minus 4. And there we go. So we have our easy little graph, same exact idea we've been doing. Start off at that -4 value, and then we're moving 1, 2, 3 to the right, and 1 up. So we go there. Here are the other dots. And notice how quickly I can go through that. It's not because I'm a math genius, not because of lots of practice. It's because I'm visually seeing that there are 3 boxes here, and I'm doing simply 1 down, 3 to the left, 1 down, 3 to the left. So you're like visualizing these 3 boxes is how much you're changing by. And if you have that visual in your head, it does become a lot easier sometimes of figuring out where you're going and what you're doing. Boom, 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 boom. Let's move on to our next one. Well, my line's a little off there, but you know, I still get full credit. All right. So you have this -20 equals -4y minus 3x. Same exact thing. We're going to need to put it into that y equals mx plus b format before we actually do the graphing. So we're going to go ahead and switch the 4y and the 20. Remembering that when you do that, when you switch sides, you switch signs. So we should write that -3x in front too. So -3x and then plus 20. All right, there we go. So rearrange a little bit. And now we're dividing everything by that value 4. Divide by 4. Plus 5. And there we go. And I'm also going to pause for a second. And if you are just writing these 3 things down and you aren't showing the work when you need to see the work, make sure you're actually doing that. Draw some little circles for yourself, show you what's coming next. We've been doing these types of problems for a while, but if you haven't gotten used to it, then do it more slowly. Show the dividing by 4 from this step to this step. Show the adding 20 to both sides. You're allowed to approach these how you want to. You don't need to be doing a strict version of anything. I think it's a lot easier just to do it without showing all that crazy amounts of work, but that's totally up to you. Anyways, there is our 5 dot we're going for, and then we're going, looks like, to the right 4 and down 3. So we're going to go ahead and do to the right 4 and down 3. And again, what I am now visualizing for myself are these like 12 boxes. So I got like 12 total. And like if I tried to do that again, though, I would be off the page. If I tried to go again over here, I'd be off the page. So these are the only dots I'm able to draw for this particular question. And that does happen sometimes. You can only do 2 dots. You don't need a whole bunch of them. You only need 2 dots to make a straight line. And there you go. Let's move on to our next question. So now we are sketching the graph of each linear inequality. So you're going to be doing exactly the same thing to begin these questions. The major difference is you do need to remember that when you have a less than or equal to, that these get solid lines of some kind, whereas the ones without the equal tos are going to be dotted lines of some kind. So it is important to note when, like here, this is going to be a solid line, this one's going to be a dotted line. That's where you begin. So same exact idea. So we're starting off at that value 4. That's a slope of 1, which means we go to the right 1 and up 1. We go right 1 and up 1. We go right 1 and up 1, down 1 and left 1, so on and so forth. Notice how it's just that one box. That's all you got to do. You don't need to go too much into it. And now we're going to go ahead and graph our line. And there we go, doing our best. Here we go. And now we do need to remember that this is a less than sign. So we call this a less, and this is a greater. And because this one's a less and this one's a greater, when you have a less, you're going below. So we're going to be shading in below this line. There we go. So all that stuff below that line. Here we go. We got another less than on this one, but this one is a dotted line and it's a negative x minus 3. So there's our minus 3 and it's negative x. We go to the right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1. And this one, I'm not even going to be taking my ruler out because I need to make this a dotted line anyways. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of turn these into longer pieces here. It does take a little bit of time, but that's okay. We're not in any rush. And now we're going to be going ahead and doing less than. So again, it's below the line, nice and easy. I guess part of it went above the line. I don't know if I'm taking off points for slight things like that. Probably not. And now we're doing the same thing, but it's multiple choice. How nice. We got some multiple choice questions. However, because it's a multiple choice problem, I do think it's a good thing to do some test taking skills on these. It's really, really tough to see. I can see in the camera, the shading is like gone. Like technically this is shaded up here and this is not, but on the camera, it is absolutely not visible. What if I like brighten it a little bit? Can you see it a little bit better? That's actually worse. What are you gonna do? Whatever. So it goes. Either way, there's two different approaches to these questions. I really think that doing them from a quote-unquote intelligent perspective, where you do a process of elimination, actually is going to be easiest. So you can just get to the correct answer, like from a test-taking skills standpoint, instead of a pure mathematics. Like we've done the mathematics for, you know, our graphing and doing it by hand here, but now we have like a multiple choice version. What are we going to do? So we're going to see that we have an equal sign here, which means immediately we can cross off the two that have dotted lines because they are definitely not correct. After that, we only have 2 solid lines to even consider here. With those 2 solid lines to consider, we have 2 different ways you can go about it. Number one, you could notice that the value here 2, which is going to turn into a negative 2, is never going to be a fraction in this question. It's never going to be a 1. So it does need to go through the number 2 in some way, shape, or form. And the only one that goes through the number 2 is actually negative 2. So it's definitely got to be the letter B. But how could you have tested this? You could have done a test coordinate. So this is a way you can do on any multiple choice question and a way to check your work on previous problems. What you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself, what is a solution in the the shaded in region that is in one of the answers, but not in the other answer. So for instance, this dot right here, which is the dot 4 comma -2, is part of this answer, but it is not part of this answer down here. So that one over here is again that 4 comma -2. You'll have to look on your own paper to see that this is the shaded region and this is the shaded region, because this is, like I said, it is not visible on camera, but it is definitely the below part shaded here and the above part shaded here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to plug in the x is 4 and the y is -2. We're going to see which one of these it's a true statement for, because if it's true, we're good to go. And if it's false, then it's the other one. We already know the answer is B, so we know it's going to be this one, but let's just go ahead and see which that it works out. If you plugged in, again, it's 4 comma -2. So we have 4 minus -2 greater than or equal to 2. Minus a negative is plus, and that's going to be 6 is greater than or equal to 2. That is a true statement, which is why that letter B works. So let's do that same exact process here. And on this one, it's even easier than the previous question because, again, it has that equal to sign, so it's not dotted. And 3 of the answers are dotted. You don't even need to think on this one. You can just circle it and move on to the next problem. Beautiful. Hopefully that shows up on your actual test. Now we have to go into graphing our absolute value equations. For our absolute value problems, man, this is not the best 2 problems that the computer generated here, but I guess I can see in the back that we're gonna have some more in just a moment here. Either way, to graph your absolute value equations, you always want to remember the general format is y is equal to that slope multiplied by x minus h plus k. And oftentimes in textbooks, they're going to use the letter A instead of the letter M, but I like using the letter M because it acts just like a slope from a regular problem. So this is going to be your, I'm going to put slope in coordinates here because it's not like purely slope, but it might as well be. And this is H comma K, the vertex here, we call it, which is our starting coordinate. So in this particular problem, we are going to have a, for both of these questions, we have the same exact slope. The slope is going to be equal to +1, and our vertex here is going to be different for each question, but it's going to be very similar. Because there's no h to subtract from, it's going to be 0 for both of them. And then it's just the number that goes down. So -2 for this one and -1 for that one. So we have our 0 comma -2. That's going to be right here. This one has 0 comma -1, and the slope is just 1. However, you want to remember that it goes to the right one, up 1, but unlike a regular slope line where you do your right and left like normal, the thing is you always go in the same y direction. So when you go to left 1, you actually go up 1 anyways, and it creates this V shape, which is exactly what we actually want, is this V shape. And all absolute values will have this type of V shape. I apologize for not having really 2 different kinds of problems here because I want one that is shifted, you know, where I've added +3 and had a slope, but well, what can you do? The test review did not spin out the problems that I asked for, and I didn't check it, and I just made the video. So I guess we suffer through it, and this is why I'm not getting paid to do these things. Here we go. Well, actually, I am getting paid, but not the oodles of money anyways. Here we go. So the next one, same exact idea. So we're just up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Up 1, left 1. Again, that V shape always going to come out of a really high quality, Mr. Richards. Really, really high quality. And we got our arrows. We're moving on to the next question. Oh yeah, we got multiple choice absolute values this time. So this one here is, oh no, it's got a fraction, heaven forbid. But this just means that our vertex is at the coordinate 5/4, 0, meaning that we are to the right 1.25 and up and down none. So this one is not correct because it's moved up and down. This one's not correct because it's moved up and down. So our only 2 options are these 2. And the main difference here is this one has the positive answer, which is our correct answer. Now you might be thinking, hey, but wait, Mr. Richards, that was negative. You want to remember that formula we just put in the last page. There's a negative in the formula. So because there's a negative in the formula, it does the opposite of what you think. So this is going to move you to the right 5/4, which is why we're on the right-hand side for our little dot there. This one over here, that negative is on the outside. In addition, we have a negative slope. So instead of going up for our letter V, we're going to be going down for our letter V. So we're pointing down. So this is definitely wrong, and this one's definitely wrong. And now, which one is it the correct part? Is it the one that starts above or the one that starts below? Well, in this one here, it's on the outside. That's like the vertex being at 0, negative 1.5. So you're going down 5 as our starting point. So it looks like letter D is our correct answer. So in the end, this one opposite of what you think and it went to the right. This one did exactly what you think. It just went down. So inside, opposite, outside, not opposite. Let's go. Next question here. Find the value of x or y so the line through the points has the given slope. So this is just going to be algebra practice. Make sure you remembered your proportion rules from back when and our slope formula. As a reminder for that slope formula, m is equal to y2 minus y1 over our x2 minus our x1. And this is our x1, y1, and this is our x2, y2. So plugging this in here, we are going to have y minus -8 divided by -2 minus -9. And rewriting this here, y plus 8. I said 8 and then wrote 1. Get it together, Mr. Richards. All right, -2 plus 9 is going to be 7. And that's going to be our slope, but you're told that the slope is equal to 4/7. So because you're told that it's equal to 4/7, we go ahead and put that in. And so we're replacing it, and now we can just cross multiply. Now we don't actually need to cross multiply in this particular problem. And the reason why we don't need to is because there's a 7 on the bottom of both. So we can just multiply both sides by 7. The 7s are gone, and y clearly equals +4 or -4, right? Subtract 8 on both sides and you end up with a -4 solution. That's supposed to be -4. Yeah, I'll rewrite -4. There you go. Okay. And let's do this one. I think this one you're actually gonna have to do some cross multiplying. So we're just gonna do the whole setup in one step here. So our slope is 1/8. So 1/8 is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's do a little bit of simplifying here. 1/8, -4 minus -5 is +1. And now we're going to cross multiply. We are doing 8 times 1 and 9 minus x times 1. So this is going up there, that's going up there. 9 minus x is equal to 8, and therefore 9 minus 8. If we move the 8 over, add the x over, you end up getting x is equal to 1. So nice and easy. All right, moving on, write the slope-intercept form of the equation of each line. Some of these are nice and easy, remembering that a horizontal line is always the basic boring y equals a number. If it was a vertical line up and down, you'd have x equals a number. For this one over here, it looks like we have a value of +3 as our starting coordinate out here, and then we have to figure out what our slope is. Our slope, it appears to go from like this dot here to maybe this dot here. So we are going 2 to the right and then up 5. So that is going to be 5/2 with an x because we are going to the right 2 and up 5. So again, that is right 2 and up 5, and that's where our 5/2 comes from. Moving on to our last page here, our back page, our point slope form. This one, so many people were forgetting on the actual test or quiz. We gotta remember it. We're just gonna be doing the one basic version. If you remembered a different version, that is okay. You're allowed to be using a different version of this equation. But I'm just gonna stick with 1 for this one. But we can't do this until we have that m. So we're going to use that same formula from the previous page, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. -3 minus -1 is -2 over -1, which is going to give us just +2 for our slope. And our point slope form of the line would be y +1 because it is minus a negative. So this guy over here goes right there, equals our m here goes right here, our 2 multiplied by x minus 1, and that this 1 over here goes right there. Remembering that that inside the parentheses is the opposite sign, just like those absolute value problems. We do not do anything extra. Don't quote unquote solve this equation. There's no solving to do anyways, but we are leaving it like this. This is our point slope form. We don't want to change it from here. Here we go to the next one, right? The point slope form of the equation described. So for this one, we just had to remember our rule for perpendicular, because perp means perpendicular. This thing is our perpendicular symbol, and it means to create a right angle. And when you do that, you're flipping it upside down and making it negative. So your -2 over 1 is going to become a positive 1 over 2. So it switches in between them, and this is your m. That you're dealing with. Specifically, it's the perpendicular m. If you want to be fancy with it, you could say it's the perpendicular m. All right, anyways, they're going to this coordinate 2, 4. It's the same exact point slope as the one above it. So y minus 4 is equal to 1 over 2 parentheses x minus 2. Beautiful. We are all done. Let's move on to question number 19 now. So solve each problem involving direct or inverse variation if y varies inversely as x. What that means is we have y is equal to k over x. Inversely means always that you're dividing, and directly is going to be multiplying. And I guess this is both going to be inverse for this one, but this one is going to, like, inversely is always a k over x, and if it was direct instead, direct is k times x. So inverse k over x. I guess these are both inverse. Yet another, not the best exact practice for every single different type, but so it goes. Y is equal to 9 when x is equal to 4. So if y is equal to 9 when x is equal to 4, it must be the case that 36 is equal to k. And you're trying to figure out that what is y when x is 14. So we have 36 over 14. Let's reduce that. So they both reduce by 2, and that's going to be 18 divided by 7. Beautiful. Number 20 now, our last problem of the day, same exact thing. Y is equal to k over x. We have it inversely, and when y is 12, x is 3. So if y is 12, then x is equal to 3. And I guess you get 36 again. That is not supposed to normally happen, but what can you do? And you want to know what is y when x equals 7? Well, there's not much to do on this one because you just get 36 over 7 and there's no reducing, so that's the entire thing. Wonderful rest of your day, guys, and peace out.